All right, war number 9 here, and this is a good one. So war number 3 was a really good one. We're up against PBT, obviously, and this one I would say is right up there with war number 3, just in kind of showcasing Apocalypse's range in war fights. So we're going to look around the map here. I'm actually going to be taking Path 5, and I'm taking both of those fights with Apocalypse. So Thing, mangog, and then up in Section 2, I'll be taking Path 2, Annihilus, and Korg. And then, of course, I'm going to be taking that American Chavez Mini, as you guys have seen me take several times this season at this point. So, because we are using Apocalypse for every fight this war, I get to bring in Cable, which is going to get him ramped up from the first fight, and that'll definitely help. And then also White Magneto. I do have an unawakened rank 3 White Mags, but he is on defense. So, all right, MSD actually had a video, I think his first war video since joining DSVG mid-season, where he used his unawakened rank 4 Apocalypse in this fight here. So I used that as reference, and just in general, you know, this node is one that, you know, basically they're gonna have a 60% protection on your damage until you knock them down, and then when you knock them down, they're going to be debuff immune for, I believe, 6 to 8 seconds. I can't remember. So you do have to play this fight a little bit differently. Now, if you guys are familiar with how Thing works, he has his own protection, and he is going to activate that protection on parries. So anytime you parry him, and also if you reach a damage cap of, I think, 30 or 300% of your attack rating, which, so that is going to factor in, you know, massive crit damage, boosts, suicides, all that stuff. So just your base attack rating, if you eclipse 300% of your base attack rating against him on any single hit, then he'll activate his protection. So, so we're going to have 2 protections to play around in this fight. And what I'm going to do is, my strategy here is to build up to an SP3. I'm not going to worry about the damage at all. All I want to do is manage his rock stacks. There you guys can see. I'm going to push him to 15 rock stacks. Hit into his block. I only want to hit into his block once, because if I do it twice, since I have 4 genetic code, I'll stun him. And then if I hit him, he'll gain his unstoppable effect there. So I'm going to stop my combo short just to make sure that I can count those rock stacks. So this fight is really just being very comfortable with Thing, his animations, all that stuff. So here I'm going to let him parry me a little bit. I'm going to throw my heavy. There you can see his protection is on cooldown, because there's a period after you parry him and activate his protection where the protection goes on cooldown. I heavy him so that I can throw my heavy to get the node protection debuff or passive off, and then I throw the SP2 or the SP3, and it just does hilarious damage. So here we're going to throw the SP2. I think I threw that a little bit early because the protection did come back. There, push him to 15 rock stacks. And there is one point in this fight that gets a little bit dicey, and I'm actually very, very proud of how I managed this. And it's actually right here. So I've got him at 9 rock stacks. That was kind of accidental. And now I've got to get him to 15. I've got to get him up to a bar of power before he gets to 15, or when he gets to 15. So what I'm doing is I am backing off, and I am throwing mediums only, because they give more defensive combat power rate to the defender. Same deal, I'm just going to throw my heavy, and this SP3 is going to kill him. So just keep that in mind. If you get in a situation where, oops, he just emptied his power meter and he's at like 8 or more rock stacks, be patient, back off, land parries, and just do medium back off, because mediums are going to give more combat power to the defender than light attacks. Heavies are going to give more combat power to the defender than medium attacks. So just keep that in mind. You can kind of use that to get yourself out of sticky situations against Thing, where combo count does matter, and him having bar power matters. So, all right, this Mangog fight I was very worried about. I was like, man, this just doesn't seem like the best matchup, but at the same time, it's just the way that it worked. And You know, I admit there's a little bit of a kind of experimental element to this whole thing. Apocalypse has been so dominant so far this season for me. Yeah, I'm just curious, you know, as a planner, I'm just curious, like, what is the boundary for him? So one thing you'll notice in this fight is I am not going to be doing 5-hit combos. I'm going to be doing 3 or 4-hit combos, just kind of a feel. Every time he throws an SP1, he's going to gain 2 hatred, so he's already up to 7. He starts a fight with 3. And here I'm going to heavy him to get that protection off. I get my Fury, and we are going to throw the SP2 into his face there. We're going to build right back up to an SP2. I'm going to let him throw this SP2 at me. It's not a big deal. I didn't need to try to dex that. It is only unblockable when he has 10 or more hatred. And he goes into berserk mode. There, I kind of freaked out a little bit. Threw my my SP2 while he had protection up. I didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to reset the debuffs there. And then we're going to go into the SP2. I meant to go into the SP2, but he went unstoppable. So again, just a little bit of nerves there at the end of the fight, but you guys can see Apocalypse really can take care of that fight without any issue. You just need to control mangog's power, just bait those SP1s or an SP2 as long as he's under 10 hatred, and it's pretty safe. Okay, so these next 2 fights, this is a really good lane for Apocalypse. It places Disorient on you, both of these fights in different ways. This first one, it will place a Disorient on you on well-timed parries, or well-timed blocks. I am going to be using, just to bypass his Cosmic Rod, I am going to be using the White Mag's pre-fight. And then in the next fight against Korg, if you dash back twice within, I think, 1 second, or maybe 1.5 seconds, I can't remember, then you'll also be inflicted with a Disorient passive or debuff. I'm not really sure, but in any case, Disorient effects Apocalypse becomes completely immune to after being exposed to them for 8 seconds. So we're not worried about that. Korg won't be able to shrug off or purify our stuns, so we can just parry, light. So there you go. I stunned him. I've got that passive Disorient effect. I'm just going to back off. Just be patient with this fight. I am kind of playing into the node here, but I know that once I get my SP2 off, I won't have to worry about the node again because it'll do so much damage and give me so much power back. Alright, so we're just going to bait this SP1. I'm just going to block it because block the first part there. Just don't need to mess around with it. Refresh the debuffs. We're kind of playing into the node as well. Couple combo hits, and he's dead. So very simple fight. Certainly is made simpler with White Mag's guidance, but I wouldn't think that that's quote-unquote necessary or anything like that. If you guys are in a situation where you're assigning for that path, you've got an Apocalypse, but you can't fit a White Magneto, not a big deal. Alright, and then this one I'm not even going to use White Mags for. Again, he's not going to be able to shrug off my parries. I do have a PS1 boost. I like to use the PS1 boost on this lane or on all strike counter lanes, just so that if I get in a tricky situation, I start ahead on the power meter race. Alright, so I want to get to that SP2, but I also want to make sure that he has 0 rock stacks when I throw my SP2, so that it's doing maximum damage, and so that I don't take any, Thorns damage back with like that first contact hit. Alright, so I do want to bait out this SP2. He has his rock stacks back again. None of this is really a big deal. I'm going to refresh the debuffs real quick, but again, I just want to bait out this SP2. And then once he throws it, I can punish with a medium attack, which is going to cause a little bit of Thorns damage. Not a huge deal. And again, I want to just get all those rock stacks off. Now I can throw my SP3, and this will finish him off. Alright, very nice. Okay, so I've only got one more fight here, and that next fight is this America Chavez. So I can't remember how many times I had taken her up until this point. I think twice. The first time was super scary, ended up getting through it. By this point, I've, in my head, kind of perfected this fight. With Apocalypse, I think at this point it is incredibly easy and simple if you follow a very, very clear kind of strategy in this fight. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a Power Start 1 boost. We are going to we want to do a full combo before we throw our SP1. All right, so that means either intercepting if it's natural, or more likely you're just going to want to hold block because of stun reflect and let her throw a heavy. Just give her space, don't interrupt the heavy, and then you want to fully counter with a 5-hit combo. It doesn't matter, light or medium ender. If you are using an Apocalypse that is not fully ramped up or has 2 or fewer prowess, then you're going to want to end this on a medium attack so that when you throw your SP1, you can apply that poison debuff to put the stun reflect on cooldown. So here I'm doing a lot of dancing around with boost, checking stuff. I don't even know what the hell I was doing, honestly. But here's the strategy going into this fight. PS1, you don't need to worry about power back boost because her dimensions can take that away anyway and actually reverse some of that power gain. So you're better off not using a power back boost. PS1, beta heavy or get an intercept from her. And then you're going to do a full 5-hit combo, throw your SP1, and then you can parry after that. And then just ignore your debuffs. Don't worry about refreshing them. You're just going to want to do another full 5-hit combo with an alternating combo enders to apply those withers. And once you apply those withers, honestly, you are completely in control of this fight. All right, there we get this stun. We're going to do a combo ender opposite. That applies withers. So now I've got 8 withers on her, each reducing her power gain, her ability power gain by 20%. So she's not getting any from the negative zone. She's also not getting any from Mystic Dispersion. All right, we're just alternating combos, and here we're just going to throw the SP2. Again, we do have to play her stun immune because she does have the stun reflect active, but we're going to throw the SP2, and there you go. Very straightforward. Now in that fight, obviously I've got a rank 4 Apocalypse. He has guidance, and then I also had the read debuffs. I promise you guys, I took this fight the very following war without guidance and without read debuffs, and it went exactly the same way. So once you get that second combo where you apply those withers, if you're just following that plan, you guys are going to solo that fight with a rank 3 Apocalypse, rank 2 Apocalypse. It doesn't matter. She really can't do anything to you at that point. So anyway, we ended up losing this war. I believe that this was one that we lost on a tiebreaker. I could be misremembering, but it was very close. Unfortunate, but yeah, we've got a few more wars left at the end of this war here to try to win a couple and secure masters. So that's it, guys. Leave a like and a comment. If you want to see more war videos, obviously subscribe. That is it. I will see you in the next video.